Okay, guys, welcome to the call. Thank you all for joining us. And tonight's call is very fascinating to me. And so and I had my book and then I put it away. We are talking about, this is the book that we're referencing. It's called The Four Color Personalities for MLM. And it's by Big Al Schreiter. Tom Big Al Schreiter. So this is what we're talking about, and we're going to go through the four colors, and what we're going to talk about is things that can help you when talking to the different colors. And also I'm going to share Angela Faith and Elizabeth Credno have been doing some training, and it's on their YouTube channels, and they're going in real depth, and they're having some leaders on their team and in the company talk about specific colors. So far they've done yellow and blue. And Angela had done another training on reds, and just why you want reds on your team. So we're going to go through the four different personalities. And what I want you to think about is how this can help you when you're talking to different people. The one video that I watched on this was by Kelly Norman, and she was talking about, she's a red, and when for the first year or so, she was prospecting everybody as if they were a red like her. She just didn't even think about the different personalities. And so it's really interesting as you read this book. It's a very quick, easy book, and it's really good because there's like little notes and it's just a really good reference and really good to think about. So we're going to talk about the four different colors. We're going to start tonight with blue. And I really liked when somebody, I think it was when Kelly was first talking about it, she was talking about the 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman, and how it's good to know the love language of your spouse so that you know how to love on them better and to better your relationship. So this is kind of the love language of your prospects and the people on your team, so that you can prospect better and you can help your team better. And this is going to be more about prospecting. Then I'll share the videos from Elizabeth and Angela on really helping your team with these colors. So with blue, I'm going to give you keywords for each of these colors. Blue, the keyword would be fun. They are all about the fun. They're about the people. They're about the trips. They love to have fun. And so the person that was talking about this was Rebecca Folks, and Elizabeth Credno, which is on Angela's team, and she's an emerald in Virginia. She is also a blue. 15% of people are blue. So you've got 15% of people out there that you can prospect in this way. So another thing I want you to think about, like when you're making your list of 100 or your list of 63 that we had talked about, go through and think about what color they are. And if you're not sure, build that relationship with them before you're prospecting them and kind of try to figure out what color they are. So blue is all about the fun, and they gave some different words that you would think about with the blue, or that blues are. So they're happy, they're upbeat, they can be loud, they speak quickly, they like bright colors, they like trendy things, they like the spotlight, they're spontaneous and impulsive, which she was saying, which is great, because you tell them, let's do this, and just, all excited about it, like, okay. Rebecca Folks was saying that she tried the drink one time and loved it, and her friend just said, let's do this together, and she was like, okay, let's do it. So the blues are just spontaneous and impulsive. I think it was in the book it was talking about, or it might have been another video that I was watching, that blues, and Elizabeth talks about it, blues tend to interrupt people a lot because their mind's racing. They want to jump in and tell you things. They want to join in the conversation. I think from what I've read and figured, that my son is a blue. And like you just saw, he came down here. He wants to be in on everything. He's constantly interrupting because he wants to tell you things. So she was saying you can talk them into plexus just by saying, let's do this together. They love giving and getting compliments. They're usually extroverts. And a blue person would be somebody that comes up to you and they say, hi, how are you? What's your name? Tell me about yourself. And they want to, just get in the conversation and learn about you and talk about you and themselves. They're great encouragers, great promoters, and great motivators. So that's kind of what they can really bring to your team. They've got a huge warm market because they have a lot of friends. They're going to have a lot of people that they influence, a lot of people that they're friends with. With training them, you really have to, she was talking about, you really have to stay on top of them. You have to rein them in, because training and the nitty gritty details isn't always their specialty. So, some of them, they'll, when they really want the business, they're going to find out how to do that. But sometimes they really need extra help in that area. They love recognition. They love the opportunity to get up on stage and be recognized. They love the trips, the traveling, the people, the fun. So that's what the Blues are all about. Fast cash, big dreams. She was saying that with Blues, they need short-term goals. So you don't want to be talking about, they talk about with network marketing, when you're, is it worth it to do this for 5 years and make income that somebody does in 40 years? Well, 5 years is just way too far. She said the max a Blue wants to think is 3 months, and that's kind of, out there for them. So they want short term, this week, let's do this week, on Elizabeth's training call, that's what she was talking to, one of the Blues was talking about, that her upline works with her and says, okay, let's do this week. And, really just small, little goals. They're okay being followers, and they can be indecisive. They love stories. So when you're sharing with a Blue, you want to share stories, testimonies. They want to hear about the stories, and they want to hear about the fun, the traveling, the recognition, and all of that. Let them talk, because they like to talk. She said, don't be firm, because they can be a little tender. And she said, when you're talking to them or training them, I thought I turned my phone on silent. Don't go long talking to them without bringing it back to the fun and talking to them about the fun. So that's a Blue, and a couple of people to give you some ideas of people that are Blue. And so I will also share the video that I got all this information from. And like I said, it's mostly coming from this book, but there was a video that diamonds in the company were talking about themselves and kind of how you can prospect and how they're good for your team and good for the company. So the next color we're going to talk about is green. And I know we have a couple people on here where green was very close to the top for them. And this was Rachel Hegel who was talking. And for green, the keyword, so Blue was fun. The keyword for green is information. They like information, and they like lots of it. They like details. They like to research. They love information. They're hunters and gatherers of information, of data, of scientific details. And so they want to know the why, the how, and the reason that it works. And Rachel was talking about, your greens are most likely not going to be your silver stars that are rushing to the top, because they are slow to figure things out. They want detail. They're going to take time. So if you message them and you're asking them something, they're going to go research it. So you're not going to be able to come back to them the next day and get an answer, because they are going to be going to research it before they make a decision. But once they have made their decision and they know that it's good because they've done this research, and by the time that they have decided they're in, they are all in. So, and greens are great because they are great people to have as sidelines, teammates on your team that you can go to and ask them questions. And if they don't know the answer, they're going to find the answer. They're great people to help you in that way. So she said, when you are prospecting a green, you want to go in with information. You want to be armed with information, or just know that you're going to need to get information or find information. Of course, they will also find stuff on their own. But a good thing for prospecting with them is articles. So if you're finding articles on, gut health, the ingredients and what they're doing, and, and reputable articles. So finding things from the NIH, from the Mayo Clinic, the Cleveland Clinic, things like that. So She was talking about, and that they enjoy answering questions. So that's another thing. When they're all in and they know a lot of details, it's great people to have on your team, or to have good friends that are sidelines that are willing to help. She was talking about that her nickname with her friends is Cliff Clavin. Some of you guys might know who that is. I don't know who that is, but she was talking about Cliff Clavin. And so she said, if it's somebody who loves to watch Jeopardy, they're probably a green. She said, never mind. I was able to mute it. Wasn't able to do that before. That often greens are uncomfortable in social situations. And everybody else talked about how to invite to events. The blues didn't talk about that, but obviously when you're talking about the blues and you're inviting them to an event, you're going to talk about how much fun you're going to have. I'm sorry, I'm jumping back to the blue because it just made me think of something. When inviting them to an event, Susan Pruder, I don't remember how to say her name. She's on Angela's team on the call, was talking about that they're all about the fun. So they've actually started to do, and she's a blue, they've started to do bunco nights where they are doing a bunco plexus night, and they play bunco, and then in the middle they tell a few stories, and then they keep playing bunco. So it's a fun event, and they're getting the blues out there for it. So they're all about the fun. So when you're inviting, you want to talk about the fun you're going to have, and maybe even think about different events to do where you can bring in some of those blues that are going to want to come. So with greens, when you're inviting to an event, you want to tell them, invite them to the event and tell them that there's going to be a lot of information that you'll be discussing and an opportunity to gather a lot of information. She said, with a green, do not say we're going to have a blast. And do not put exclamation points after things when you are talking to when you're writing to a green. She said, we don't like exclamation points. I use exclamation points all the time. She said that they sometimes will have trouble with small talk, which goes along with that social anxiety at times. And this isn't going to fit every green, because some people are going to be green and, another color very close. So this is like somebody who's very green, a lot of that's going to help for them. But somebody who's green would see a lot of this that definitely fits them. So key phrases when you're talking to a green and you're talking to them about plexus is, I'd love to get your opinion on something. I'd like you to take a look at this product and tell me what you think about it. I can get you lots more information if you need it. I'd love for you to gather some research. And that's where she said, they're not going to get back to you the next day, but they may come back with too much information. So if you are a green, you're high on the green, that's when you really need to dial back the information you're giving people. A lot of people, we talk about throwing up plexus because you're just giving them way too much information. They're especially a blue, you've lost them. A long time ago. Nobody needs the information that the green needs. So greens have to kind of tone down the information that they send to people. If you're talking to a green, they're going to love a lot of information. They are relationship builders, but they're going to build relationships with their friends and with their prospects before they're ever going to share the information. They're going to build those relationships before they share. And she talked about with a green, when you talk about making your list of 100, or, sometimes they do massive action steps. Leslie Zann talks about that. And some people have done these we've got 10 minutes since we had so many issues at the beginning. These massive action steps. And it's like, reach out to 50 people this week. She said that is going to turn a green off. That list of 100, that reach out to 50, they're going to crawl into their shell. They need little, small, tangible goals. So like this week, let's reach out to 3 new people. So you can see blue and green both have that. They don't want to they don't want too big. They're going to have lots of questions for you. No, there's no such thing as too much information for a green, and with a green, you're going to need to do a lot of follow-up because they are not going to decide right away. Next, I'm going to talk fast because we have 10 minutes. Next was yellow, and that was Sarah Marble. I'm a yellow. We have a lot of yellows on here. Almost all of us were yellow at the top. So the key word for yellows is help. And almost always these people are going to follow under yellow. Kindergarten teachers, that was me. Nurses, that was Sarah Marble. Pastors, counselors, people that volunteer a lot. Yellows are huggers, and if they're going and saying hi to people, they're hugging people. Some more words that fit a yellow: help, if they're talking about help, comfort, contributing to things, assisting with things, feelings, how they feel, supporting people, nurturing people. If you hear those words, people are probably a yellow. If you have a bunch of yellows in a room and somebody says, where do we want to go for lunch? You're going to starve because nobody's going to make the decision. All the yellows are going to say, I don't know, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Because nobody wants to make the decision to hurt anybody else's feelings. So you want some other colors in there to make the decisions. She said you need to have a red in there to decide where you're going. And so when you're talking to yellows, you want to talk about how many people you can help. You can help so many people because of blood sugar and gut health, help people, financial people. And Sarah Marble was talking about, helping single moms, people that are close to retirement but aren't able to retire, to make the money for them, college kids, so that they're not having those, all of the loans to pay off at the end. When you're inviting them to an event, she said to say, I would love if you would come with me. One, if you'd come early to help me set up because I'm feeling really overwhelmed. I would love the help. Or something like, there's so many people that we can help with this, with these products. If you could bring just one person, then you could be one of the people that's helping us to get the word out about these life-changing products. And this opportunity that's helping to change lives. Do you think you could help out by bringing one person? And she said, yellow's gonna, oh yeah, I'll bring 10 people. So that was the yellow. So yellow's all about help. Red, I didn't look at the time when it gave me 10 minutes. I should have. Oh, it's at the top, a little over 6 minutes. Okay, next is red. And Brenda Martin was talking, she's a red. Kelly Norman was the one doing the call, she's a red. And Angela Faith is a red. So reds, she said the words to think for red is think big. They're all about big. They're very focused. She said they're always right. Their way is best. She said it's not always a bad thing. They like to be in charge. They like to do their own thing. They like to get to the bottom line. They don't want a bunch of chit chat. So again, greens are going to give them way too much information. It's going to throw them off. They want to know what they need to know. They want to know the end results. Like, when I take this pink drink, what's going to happen? They don't want all the details of why it's happening. They just want to know what's happening, what's going to happen. If you give them a challenge, it's on. They're going to get that challenge or do all that they can. They like going big. And Brenda Martin was talking about that. What really turned her, she liked the product, she was using the products, but she really wasn't into the business until her upline told her what diamonds make on average, and that really got to her. So the reds are about the money, big, thinking big, the potential. She said tell them the potential is huge, and give them examples, show them diamond documentaries would be great for them, the income disclosure statement showing what those diamonds are making. She said they can be intimidating to people. Don't let them intimidate you. They're great to have on your team. You want them on your team. You need them on your team. And she talked about when she first started, she didn't see a need for her upline for a long time. She studied on her own. She learned on her own. She did what she needed to do, and she just went with it. But down the road, she realized that her upline, she did need her upline. It was good to have that extra perspective and have, third person validation and all of that. But at first she just went with it, studied, learned, did it on her own. Reds love to be leaders. They love to supervise. She said when you're inviting them to an opportunity meeting, you want to talk about the big money. You want to you want to make sure that there's going to be some testimonies there about the big money, the big picture. Reds like to have a job to do. They like the yellows like to help, but yellows are okay and blues are okay in the backgrounds. Reds don't necessarily want to be in the background. They like to be noticed. They like recognition. They don't usually mind being asked to speak, especially when they're talking about big things, exciting things, the big picture. Like I said, they love recognition. So reds, if you have reds on your team, you want to praise them. They like to get that recognition. And she said that her upline, when she started, kept telling her that she was going to be an amazing ambassador. And her upline really believed that. But she realized that that was really what got her the seeing what the diamonds make and the potential, and being told that she was going to be a great ambassador and getting that recognition and realizing that she really was. She said that they love to help, and they really like to be in charge because they like to see results in people's lives. So they like to help to see the big results in people's lives. And she said, talk to them about how many people they can reach, the big numbers that they can affect, so the people that they can affect with this. We have 3 minutes. So that's the end of all the colors. So I want you to think, when you're thinking about your prospects, your friends, what colors they are. If you don't know, try to figure that out from reading their posts, talking to them, asking them some questions. Some questions that she talked about is talking to them about what drives them, what makes you want to know more. What makes you want to know more about Plexus? You could ask somebody, if money were no option, what would you do? That would give you a good idea of what somebody's main color would be. So that's when you're prospecting people. You want to be thinking about those things. But also, when you're sharing on your Facebook wall your Plexus posts, you want to think about sharing to reach all of those people. So you want to be sharing about the fun and the get-togethers that we have, and how we get to have this fun for the blues. The yellows, you're going to talk about helping people and how much it's helping people. Greens, they want information. So you're going to share articles, and blues also like testimonies, so stories. And then the red, the big picture, the income, the diamond documentary. So make sure that you're sharing on your Facebook page for all of the different colors, and not just thinking about what you would want to see. And then, like I said, Elizabeth's doing these trainings. I'm going to put the ones that are they have already on the YouTube channels when I put this replay on our team page. I'll put those in the comments. 13 people had done the personality test. I love seeing those. So I will do a drawing. I'll do a live drawing, and with those 13 people. I was going to do it on here, but we don't have time. So we have like 1 minute. Does anybody have anything they want to share, or any questions that you have? Okay. And then I want to figure out when we're going to do our next 7-day challenge. Trying to figure out when I can get down to Solomon's. I'd love to get down to Virginia again. I know there was something else. Our next live event I was hoping to do next Tuesday, but a lot of the people that have been sharing with us aren't able to do that day. So Angela actually has one that Thursday, next Thursday at 9 p.m. that we can invite people to. So that's what we're going to invite to. But if one of your participants wins something, then it's our responsibility to send it to them. So that's how they do theirs, which I actually really like, because I tend to put out a lot of money on these different events. So I really like how she does that. But thank you guys for getting on. I will do the replay, and I know this is going to hang up on me any second. So good night, guys.